or you will be arrested for trespass.
With anti-Israel, often anti-Semitic campus protests proliferating at what we amusingly choose to call our most selective universities, they add to the generalized sense among the American public that their country is running off the rails.
We're willing to risk suspension, we're willing to risk expulsion, we're willing to risk arrest.
Aside from the obvious political polarization, whether the squad on the left or the Gates 8 on the right, some of this is explainable. Wokeness surge from the post-George Floyd paroxysm of virtue signaling.
I don't know, we could have the summer of love.
Polarization plows forward because many political districts are non-competitive.
I do not support Mike Johnson. He's already a lame duck.
Plus, you can make money from these things.
You can't raise money. Everyone knows it. We know we can't win the majority next year without raising money.
But the American system is self-correcting. Indeed, despite recurrent stress, it looks like we may be on the brink of a counter-revolt against the craziness.
The bill is passed.
Just recently, Republican Speaker Mike Johnson, facing threats to his job from the Chaos Caucus, decided to cast his lot with the Enough is Enough caucus.
Are you worried about your job?
No, don't worry. I just do my job.
The House passed bills to sustain allies in Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. Congress isn't dead yet.
So this idea that we can't help Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan at the same time, I reject that. I reject it totally.
Blue states and cities that look willing to collapse rather than defend their citizens are pushing back against the progressives' pro-criminal and anti-police movements.
So to the retail thieves out there, your days are up. We're coming after you. We're giving police and prosecutors the tools they need to catch you, to put you behind bars.
The events of last week, they underscored that urgency that I feel to restore a sense of order and public safety to our city.
Turnaround began everywhere in March. The hyper-progressive City Council of Washington, D.C., which had become an embarrassing carjacking hellhole, passed an array of anti-crime measures.
Get on the ground right now!
Get on the ground!
Oregon's legislature voted to reverse the state's catastrophic 3-year experiment with drug decriminalization.
You see people pretty much everywhere on drugs, and they were literally dying before our eyes on the streets of Portland and Eugene and Salem and major cities across Oregon, and it's been horrific.
San Francisco's voters approved 2 measures to ease restrictions on policing and require drug screening for welfare recipients.
Not only have we made arrests of over 2,000 dealers and users with the goal of getting people treatment and holding drug dealers accountable, but even just last night, there was a big operation of over 50 arrests because of the work that we're doing.
In all these places, the reversals by elected officials are driven by the prospect of voters turning them out of office. That is the U.S. political system trying to right itself.
Google, you can't hide.
Even private companies are stepping up.
You are funding genocide.
Rethinking policies on diversity, equity, and inclusion.
You guys got to leave? You guys refusing to leave?
Yes.
Okay. You first stand up.
The loudest shot across this bow came in mid-April when Google fired 28 employees after sit-in protests at its New York and California offices over a contract with Israel's government. Google's firing statement describes completely unacceptable behavior.
Google arresting its own employees.
No one saw that coming. The exception to the counter-revolt is elite U.S. universities. Their leadership has seen itself as answerable to no one and politically immune. Robert Kraft, a Columbia grad and owner of the New England Patriots, said this week he will no longer give the school money until corrective action is taken.
We have professors who, instead of teaching how to think, that they're trying to tell our young people what they should think. And I think one of the biggest problems that we have to do something about is really tenure in these universities where people can do things and don't have accountability.
If big donors ever regain control of these so-called selective schools, a suggestion: fire the admissions office instead of the president. What a tragedy to think how many serious high school students got turned down at Columbia, Yale, and NYU, displaced by allowing in non-useful idiots whose chosen major is the political structure of re-education camps.
It is especially important that we remember the power of young people shaping this country today, of all days, as we once again witness the leadership of those peaceful student-led protests on campuses like Columbia, Yale, Berkeley, and many others.
You know, I learned a long time ago, listen to that lady.